All right. Okay, Kiara, good. I'm glad that you joined us. Hi, Haley. The only thing is I can't see myself. Can you guys see me on the screen? Oh, well, you could see. That's Carl. There I am. Ah, that was scary. Okay. All right. So for today, if you are in the room right now, turn your screen away from you, because I know how you are. All right. So a couple of things. Number one, Friday is the end of the first 5 weeks of the second quarter. So if you owe any literary device work, including the test, or if you owe the unit test, or if you owe quote number 3, I think that's it. It's all of the literary device stuff, and it's quote number 3 that so far is for the first 5 weeks. If you owe any of those assignments, and as of Friday afternoon, I had everything caught up on School Tool and in Classroom. If you turned anything in after then, I haven't looked at it yet. But you need to get that in this week. The other thing is, I know you guys here, I'm doing the Zooms a little different. I'm using my computer, my laptop, to actually see who's in the Zoom, but then I'm sharing the Promethean board in the classroom. So last week, oh wait, before I do that, there's one other thing I wanted to say, and I think I did this in one class on Friday, but maybe not all of them. The assignment for hyperbole that I graded, when I went back and I was grading those, that is a worksheet that I no longer use typically for hyperbole. I used to use a different one. I didn't realize that when I posted it, because, you know, with trying to convert everything over to digital stuff, Mrs. Flynn had done that and I didn't even look at it. I just posted it. So what I decided to do with the hyperbole worksheet and that assignment was if the grade that you received and earned helps your grade, improve it, I counted it. If it didn't help you at all, I didn't count it. So you might see a blank when you go to School Tool for that assignment. That's why. Okay. All right. So today we are going to be reading a story, and it is called 11. Our focus for this story, and probably the next story we do, I have to see how long this story takes us, because we're going to read the story. We're going to do some multiple choice questions together with it, because I got to see how we do on multiple choice. And then we're also going to write our first, what's known as a claim evidence paragraph. So that probably will take us all of this week. And depending on how long it does take us, we might do another story right after that, or we might move into Christmas stuff. I don't know. We'll see. There's not a lot of Christmas stuff, holiday stuff. Okay. Okay. So with that, the story that we're going to read is called 11, and we're going to be focusing on symbolism. So can somebody either in Zoom land or in real world, you don't need to look at your screen yet, Paige. You don't need to look at your screen yet. Okay. So somebody in Zoom world or in real world want to tell us what symbolism means when we talk about literature. Go ahead, Bella. Honey, just say it and I'll repeat it.
Something that means something that represents something else.
Something that represents something else. Can anybody think of a symbol that was in Save Me a Seat? In the real world or in person? Go ahead.
The leeches in Save Me a Seat represented Robbie's family.
The leeches represented Robbie's family and the hardship they went through, right? Okay, I was thinking more of a double M&M because I'm a food person. But the double M&M, right, was special, like Joe was special. It has many layers. There's more to them than meets the eye kind of thing, right? Okay, that kind of thing. So we're going to be focusing in on that. In classroom, guys in Zoom land, if you can't hear me, let me know, because I got to step away from the machine there. In classroom, hold on. I have the bulletin board, I have Zoom the class, and then I have new material 11. And this is a PDF file with the story that I'm going to read. So I am going to leave it up to you guys. You can either follow me on this board, but you're gonna have to tell me when I get to the end of I'm gonna have to be very conscious of where I am. Because I am going to be reading out of a real book because I cannot be doing the screen stuff. Last week I went home with like massive headaches, and I don't get headaches. And I think it was from being on the screens too much and going between the different kinds of screens. So you have this on your screen in classroom, or you can share my screen. It might be better at first to share my screen because I might want to annotate a couple of things. Okay. Before we actually start reading this, I just want to read you a little bit about the author, which you do not have a copy of. I always like to read about my author first. The author of this story is called Sandra, her name is Sandra Cisneros, I think. I believe she's still alive and is still a current author that you can find. It says, Sandra Cisneros writes about her life, her family, and her Mexican heritage. I'm trying to write the stories that haven't been written, Cisneros once said about her own writing. I'm determined to fill a literary void. A void is an empty space, right? Her award-winning collection of short stories, The House on Mango Street, is about a young Mexican-American girl growing up in Chicago. The book was inspired by the stories of the students Cisneros met while she was a teacher. Okay, so this 11 is one of the short stories from that book. So if you like this story, I would suggest, and I think I might have a copy somewhere in the room, I might suggest reading the book if you like her story. So I gotta figure this out. Maybe I need to move closer. All right, so this is 11 by Sandra Cisneros.
Wow, that's a lot.
Let me see if I could just set myself up a little. I don't even know if we're gonna get through this whole story today, but we'll try. So I'm asking that you follow along. So you guys in the room, if you want to turn your screen around and look at the small screen rather than the big screen, you can do that. Folks at home, you need to be working on the big screen. All right, everybody ready? Good. All right, so what they don't understand about birthdays and what they never tell you is that when you're 11, you're 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And when you wake up on your 11th birthday, you expect to feel 11, but you don't. You open your eyes and everything's just like yesterday, only it's today. And you don't feel 11 at all. You feel like you're still 10, and you are underneath the year that makes you 11. So anybody ever feel like that? I think especially in our society, we like make such big deals out of birthdays, most of us, right? But really, do you feel any different on your birthday? Not so much.
I feel a little bit more special.
You feel a little special. A little special. All right. Oh, I'm going to probably trip on that 5 more times today. All right. Like some days you might say something stupid, and that's the part of you that's still 10. Or maybe some days you might need to sit on your mama's lap because you're scared, and that's the part of you that's 5. And one day when you're all grown up, maybe you will need to cry like you're 3, and that's okay. That's what I tell mama when she's sad and needs to cry. Maybe she's feeling 3. Because the way you grow old is kind of like an onion, or like the rings inside a tree trunk, or like my little wooden dolls that fit one inside the other, each year inside the next one. That's how being 11 years old feels. So do you guys think that's true?
Yeah.
That as you get older, you have more and more layers of yourself? Does that make sense? Right? Yeah. Wait till you get to be my age. You can't remember the first few or 20. You don't feel 11, not right away. It takes a few days, weeks even, sometimes even months before you say 11 when they ask you. And you don't feel smart 11, not until you're almost 12. That's the way it is. Only today, I wish I didn't have just 11 years rattling inside me like pennies in a tin Band-Aid box. Today, I wish I was 102 instead of 11, because if I was 102, I'd have known what to say when Mrs. Price put the red sweater on my desk. I would have known how to tell her it wasn't mine instead of just sitting there with that look on my face and nothing coming out of my mouth. Whose is this? Mrs. Price says, and she holds the red sweater up in the air for all the class to see. Whose? It's been sitting in the coat room for a month. Not mine, says everybody. Not mine, not me. It has to belong to somebody, Mrs. Price keeps saying, but nobody can remember. It's an ugly sweater with red plastic buttons and a collar and sleeves. Oh, I gotta scroll this up. Thank you. Sorry. Whose is this? Not mine. Sorry, guys, you gotta let me know because I'm just gonna keep reading.
I know, I wasn't like, yeah.
Okay, I'll start. It has to belong to somebody by Mrs. Price. It has to belong to somebody, Mrs. Price says. Now I can't find it in my book. Hold on.
Oh, I thought that was part of.
There it is. No, I was just looking for my spot. It has to belong to somebody, Mrs. Price keeps saying, but nobody can remember. It's an ugly sweater with red plastic buttons and a collar and sleeves all stretched out like you could use it for a jump rope. It may be 1,000 years old, and even if it belonged to me, I wouldn't say so. Maybe because I'm skinny, maybe because she doesn't like me. That stupid Felice Garcia says, I think it belongs to Rachel. An ugly sweater like that, all raggedy and old. But Mrs. Price believes her. Mrs. Price takes the sweater and puts it right on my desk. But when I open my mouth, nothing comes out. Okay, so the word raggedy, this text doesn't have a footnote, but it's highlighted in blue. And then the definition for raggedy is over on the side, and it means torn from where. So how do you think, just by her description, how do you think Rachel feels about this sweater?
She doesn't like
She's
it.
disgusted. She doesn't like it. She thinks it's gross. Kiara, could you sit still? You're making me dizzy, woman. Thank you. All right. You're not mine, I finally say in a little voice that was maybe me when I was 4. Of course it's yours, Mrs. Price says. I remember you wearing it once because she's older and the teacher, she's right and I'm not. Is that true? I don't think so. Not always. Not mine, not mine, not mine. But Mrs. Price is already turning to page 32 in math problem number 4. I don't know why, but all of a sudden I'm feeling sick inside. Like the part of me that's 3 wants to come out of my eyes, only I squeeze them shut tight and bite down on my teeth real hard and try to remember today I am 11. 11. Mama is making a cake for me for tonight. And when Papa comes home, everybody will sing happy birthday to you. What is she about to do that she stops herself from doing in that scene?
Crying.
Yeah, she's about to cry and she stops. So she's feeling like a little kid, right?
Yeah.
Why? What's making her feel like a little kid?
Well, Rachel, not Rachel. Oh,
Okay, let's pretend like we're at school and raise our hand because there might be some other people out in Zoom land that want to answer my question. What's making her want to cry? Anybody out in Zoom land have an idea? Devin, turn your mic on, bud. Devin.
She's crying because on her birthday, she's having a worse day.
Okay, well, she's not actually crying at this point. She stops herself from crying, but she's having a really bad day on her birthday. What's making her day so bad? What is it that's making her day so bad? Haley, turn your mic on.
The sweater.
The sweater. What about the sweater?
Because it's old and it's not hers, and the teacher won't listen to her.
The teacher won't listen to her. I think you're right. But what isn't she able to do for herself that she thinks that it is an 11-year-old she should be able to do? Bella? Stand up for herself and just say, excuse me, Mrs. Price, this sweater isn't mine, right? If she did that in that way where she wasn't like snippy, because you know how 11-year-olds can be snippy. Like if she wasn't snippy about it and she just said, no, Miss Price, that sweater isn't mine, right? Then she wouldn't be feeling so bad if she was able to speak up for herself. Right. She says, not mine, not mine, not mine, but she says it in a little voice. So she's probably like this. And the teacher's, okay, I got to admit, the teacher's probably thinking about, this is a stupid sweater, get it out of my room, take care of it. And I got to go on with my lesson because that's what teachers think. Okay. If you think about a different perspective. Why are you pointing at me, Devin? Okay. I thought maybe you needed something. All right, so where are we? We are the first full paragraph on this page that you see in front of you. Not mine, not mine, not mine, but Mrs. Oh, I already read that part.
The sick feeling.
Okay, next paragraph, because she was going to cry in that paragraph, right? But when the sick feeling goes, maybe I'll move this up, the top of the page. But when the sick feeling goes away and I open my eyes, the red sweater is still sitting there like a big red mountain. I move the red sweater to the corner of my desk with my ruler. I move my pencil and books and eraser as far from it as possible. I even move my chair a little to the right. Not mine, not mine, not mine. In my head, I'm thinking, how long till lunchtime? How long till I can take the red sweater and throw it over the schoolyard fence, or leave it hanging on a parking meter, or bunch it up into a little ball and toss it into the alley? What's alley mean?
Row streets between or behind buildings.
Narrow streets. You got to read the first part of that word.
A row street.
So think about like downtown, right?
Yeah.
Where between Glove Theater and
Oh, the pizza place.
the pizza place, or what used to be the pizza place, there's an alley, right?
I actually had to walk down that.
Yeah, I've
because
walked
I
down
had-
that a few
I-
times.
Well, I had to play with Glove Theater. And we had to-
Okay, can we move on? You know what an alley is?
Mhm.
Good, all right. I want to toss it in the alley, except when my math period ends, Mrs. Price says loud and in front of everybody, "Now, Rachel, that's enough," because she sees I've shoved the red sweater to the tippy corner of my desk and it's hanging all over the edge like a waterfall. But I don't care. Ooh, it's hanging over the edge like a waterfall. What literary device are we using there? Simile, good. Rachel, Mrs. Price says, she says it like she's getting mad. "You put that sweater on right now and no more nonsense."
Oh, God.
But it's not now, Mrs. Price says. I got to scroll down.
I can't see it.
What are you looking at me for? Okay. Now, Mrs. Price says. Mrs. Price really is not listening at this point. This is when I wish I wasn't 11, because all the years inside of me, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, are all pushing at the back of my eyes when I put one arm through one sleeve of the sweater that smells like cottage cheese, and then the other arm through the other, and stand there with my arms apart as if the sweater hurts me, and it does, all itchy and full of germs that aren't even mine. That's when everything I've been holding and since this morning, since when Mrs. Price put the sweater on my desk, finally lets go. And all of a sudden I'm crying in front of everybody. I wish I was invisible, but I'm not. Invisible is
Not able to be.
not able to be seen. I'm 11 and it's my birthday today and I'm crying like I'm 3 in front of everybody.
I just let it all out. Who cares what they think?
I put my head down on the desk and bury my face in my stupid clown sweater arms, my face all hot and spit coming out of my mouth because I can't stop the little animal noises from coming out of me until there aren't any more tears left in my eyes. And it's just my body shaking like when you have the hiccups, and my whole head hurts like when you drink milk too fast. But the worst part is right before the bell rings for lunch, that stupid Phyllis Lopez, who is even dumber than Feliz Garcia, says she remembers the red sweater is hers. Take it off right away and give it to her. Only Mrs. Price pretends like everything's okay. Today, I'm 11. There's a cake Mama's making for tonight, and when Papa comes home from work, we'll eat it. There'll be candles and presents, and everybody will sing happy birthday to you, Rachel. Only it's too late. I'm 11. I'm 11 today. Hold on. I'm 11 today. 10. I'm 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But I wish I was 102. I wish I was anything but 11, because I want today to be far away already. Far away like a tiny kite in the sky. So teeny tiny, you have to close your eyes to see it. Okay, so what do we think about Rachel's situation? Let's just talk about Rachel for a second. I guess it's
She's
kind
in
of-
a bad situation.
She's in a bad situation. What makes her situation bad?
She has to put on a red sweater.
What?
She has to put on a sweater that she doesn't like.
Uh-huh.
That she knows.
Go ahead, Haley, turn your mic on, hon.
I was just stretching. I don't know, actually.
Okay, well, what do we think about Rachel's situation is the question.
Hmm.
What would change her situation from feeling so bad on her birthday? What, I think we already talked about this. What could she have done?
Getting the red sweater off. Her teacher listening to her. Her being more assertive.
Okay, okay, well, that was a lot of things. What, Zion? Say it again. Tell her about the teacher's feelings?
Tell the teacher about Rachel.
Okay, so she needs to tell the teacher about how she's feeling. Like, again, and I think you used a good word, Bella. Bella said she needs to assert herself more. So there's a difference between asserting yourself and being nasty, right? A lot of kids, a lot of times, like if I would have done that, like, this is your sweater, here, take it. A lot, that's not mine, and they would have like yipped my head off.
Like, that's not mine.
Right,
No.
and like been nasty rather than just saying, sorry, that's really not my sweater. And that would be the end of it, right?
That's not my sweater. You can throw it in the garbage.
Right, something like that. So, or you could put it in lost and found, right?
But it might not be.
Might not be. So I think out of all the people in this story that bug me, I don't like the actions of Mrs. Price. And I'm not saying I wouldn't act like Mrs. Price as a teacher, because Mrs. Price's focus is to get her lessons done and to keep her room clean, right? Pick up after the kids. So I think that had Mrs. Price actually heard Rachel say, I'm sorry, that's not my sweater, maybe things would have been a little bit differently.
I don't know. She shouldn't have forced her to put the sweater on. She should have noticed that she was pushing it to the corner and then like.
Right, but she would have, maybe she thought that she was just being a brat or something, I don't know. When she started to cry, maybe that would have been the first clue. Okay, so here's a question. And I think since we're all in the room, I'm gonna put you in breakout rooms in a second. And I want you to have a conversation, but let me do the rooms first. So how many people do we have? 11, but there's really 9. So if we did 3, but there's really 9 because I'm on here twice. Okay, so everybody's going to be talking about the same thing. Actually,
We'll just go in there.
I want to add a room. Look at that, and then I can assign. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I didn't realize that was me. All right, so we have one group of 4. That works. So group 1 is Carl, Paige. Could you stop talking, please? Group 1 is Carl, Paige, and Georgia. Group 2 is Devin, Kaden, Maddie, and Zion. And then group 3 is Bella, Haley, and Kiara. So everybody is going to talk about what the red sweater symbolizes. And I will write that, I will annotate that on the board. Okay, what does, and I'll just say the sweater symbolize to Rachel. So have a good conversation about that. And when we come back, you're going to have to share out. Yes, sir. Do you have a pair over there? Do you have a pair over there? Could you use those right now? Okay, so yeah, the guys in the room, you're gonna need headphones, sorry. So I'm gonna open the rooms. If you need to get headphones if you're in the room. And then you have to join. Okay. He didn't hear that child.
Hello. Hello. So. Okay, so what do we think the red?
So what does
The red
red
sweater
sweater
symbolize?
symbolize? I think it's like all, so she talks about like the bacteria and stuff in it.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's, she's
like
goes
that's
into
probably
detail
her
about
feelings
like
about the sweater,
every single
but like
year.
more,
So it's like all the years
like I
pushed
think
up
it's either
against
her
her
age
sweater
or her
represents her.
feelings.
Okay, guys, Mr. Zion, oh,
Just like the way.
It could
he's
be
changed.
like all of the.
this is Mrs. Jost pretending to be Zion. He left the room without my permission to go get his headphones, so I figured I would join him and save some time. So somebody tell me, what is it that you were talking about?
Piece of paper so that we can write this down.
I can't hear you.
So either the sweater either symbolizes Rachel or it symbolizes like all the years built up inside of Rachel. Because that's like her main thing. She's like, I'm 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, etc.
Zion, I said, don't leave the room, get the ones from the room. All right, well, I already logged
Talk
you
about
in.
what you did
Wasted
today.
time. You just wasted a lot of time.
So what does this sweater symbolize to Rachel? We thought that.
I think it's symbolizing like
We thought it was like all the years built up inside of her, or like the sweater symbolizes
having all the
Rachel.
layers.
Because she goes into detail like I'm 10, 9, 8, 7, etc. All the years together combined with the sweater. So like, oh, she hates the sweater. The sweater represents her age, her being 11. And all the years are built up inside of it, but she doesn't want to be 11 today. She wants to be 142.
I've got the same idea.
I thought of that on paper, so.
Symbolizes, not meaning.
Symbolize.
Symbolize.
So yeah, I think it's red. The sweater represents Rachel being 11 years old, and like all of the years are built up inside of her.
What age is she?
And she really doesn't want to be 11. Like the sweater.
You guys remember? Yeah, I do.
Yep.
11 was Rachel being 11. No,
And
I think we got a good solid answer.
Okay, what did we come up with, you guys? Anything? Somebody turn your mic on, talk to me.
Yeah.
We're trying to think what it represents.
Okay, well, you should have been talking about it, and I haven't heard Zion or Kaden say it one word in the whole time they've been sitting here. So that's why I jumped in on your, hear any conversation. So,
The only people that were talking is me and Devin.
okay, so what did you say, Maddie? Anything?
Well, we're still trying to think what the sweater represents.
Well, that's the big question.
I don't know.
So think
We
about
tried.
it being her birthday and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to leave your room, keep going.
Okay, peace
So
out.
join back in. I'm gonna,
Later.
but I can't help that. So
Miss Joyce, you're muted.
Okay, is that better? Sorry about that, guys. Okay, thank you for telling me. So I didn't hear Haley and Kiara. Who else was in that group? And Bella. Okay, so Bella's not listed in the group right now, but could somebody from that group tell me what you thought the red sweater symbolized?
We thought it like like representing her age.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take some notes here so that we have them for tomorrow. The sweater
Like we think the sweater symbolizes Rachel being 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and her feelings of being her age. Yeah. Basically.
What Bella said.
her age, and I think you said, and that she doesn't feel 11.
Yeah. Yeah. But she
I sort of summarized that. My gosh, I'd be better off writing on this thing. Apostrophe, anybody see an apostrophe where I don't? Apostrophe,
Oh.
except for that's in the wrong spot. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Wrong one.
wrong one.
That sounds really weird.
I know. Whoops, too many fields. I'm just gonna go here because this is a pain in the neck to type on. Okay, very good. Let's hear from Paige's group, Paige, Georgia, and Cara. What'd you guys come up with?
We came up with that basically almost the exact same thing as them, that the sweater represents her age and her discomfort in her age and all the years built up.
Okay, maybe it represents her discomfort. Her discomfort in not being able to do what?
Well, and her discomfort in not being able to stand up for herself.
Yeah? Yep.
So if they did not show up for the Zoom,
Then I don't know if I'd hired, so I'd have to look at it
it
myself.
literally says
I'm
to
not
mark-
worrying about it until
it
third
says
period.
mark them remote. Well, how did you do homework?
Homeroom, I just did homeroom. I think it's period by period, because they don't zoom into homeroom. Okay, one more group, guys. How about Zion and Devin? You guys were struggling with this. Did you come up with anything or have any ideas at this point of the conversation? Yeah, Devin, turn your mic on, buddy.
The sweater represents how mad she is about turning 11.
Is she mad about turning
Yes.
Not.
11? I don't, Bella, what are you doing? Bella, I didn't ask you to write anything, honey. You should be paying attention to the conversation. Okay, so I don't think she's mad about turning 11. She's kind of sad. It's very different than mad. She's sad. She's feeling kind of like, I should feel older,
But I don't.
but I don't. I can't even speak up for myself for a stupid sweater, right? So how can you put that in like what it symbolizes? Like, it is discomfort, but it's like maybe it represents her sadness about not being mature. Does that make sense? Okay. Or her sadness about her immaturity level still. Right? Okay, you guys got it. Good. Not maturity, Miss Jost. This is going to be hard to write on. Okay. All right. So tomorrow we are going to do some multiple choice questions. And like I said, I don't know how long that's going to take. And since we haven't really done multiple choice, I want to make sure that you guys are doing it the way I want you to do it. like using the text and not just guessing. So that's kind of an important thing. So we're going to do that. And if we have time, we will get started on our paragraph writing. Okay, so I am going to end the meeting. Anybody out there in Zoom land have questions for me? No? Okay, thank you for joining. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Get caught up on any work you might owe.
Wait, I have a little question. Do we have to do the other vocabulary that we did?
If you have time to do the vocabulary and you didn't finish it on Friday, sure.
I finished the first one, but what about the second one? We're supposed to do that one.
Yeah, do the second one. I assigned them. They're for practice. Okay. Kiara, thank you for coming today. I'm glad you made it on time. All right, gotta go. Bye, Mr. Dev. Bye, Maddie.
Bye.
Bye, Georgia.